one. I'll chop this little part up. Hey everybody, welcome in. This is the challenge after show for episode. Ooh, someone help me out. Is it episode 9 or episode
10?
Episode 10. Thank you.
Woo!
And I do know the title, Dan. So everybody, as you know, Dan usually moderates and leads it, and he always knows the episode title, which I never know until he says it. I never even think twice about it until he says it. But I do happen to know this episode, and not because I'm going to be helping lead because he's out there in the wilderness, but because I clicked it on YouTube TV and I saw it said Dancing on My Own, which is the Robin song.
Oh.
Fantastic. Love that song. And I noticed that they played it in the episode a few episodes back. So not sure why they're using it now, but we're not sure about these episode titles ever.
I don't know. I think that's a last minute decision that nobody cares about. Like the person that actually types it into the whatever is just like, I guess I'll call it this, because it doesn't seem to have a lot of quality control, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Ladies, why didn't they just call it Puss in Boots, the best movie ever? Can't wait to spend 20 minutes of my time on this. Yeah.
Too long.
They've done some
man.
They've done product placement, they've done advertising. This is the worst I've ever seen it. They spent so much time on this movie, and every pun for the entire challenge was all cat puns the entire time. Well, she's like a cat up there on that balance beam. It's like, I know, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the audacity of MTV and the challenge to do this to us and make us sit through that.
It was a lot, because it's like, know your audience. Is MTV's The Challenge audience really the same as the Puss in Boots audience?
Right.
That's why it was such a fail, because it's like, we're not like, yes, I've been looking forward to this. It wasn't like something like even Bachelor in Paradise where it's bros and they took it too far, but it's like, all right, we want to see the new Judd Apatow movie. We want to see it. Me and Jenna were just talking about Don't Worry, Darling. That might make sense. This is like a family kids movie. That's not really
animated.
Weird tie-in, doesn't make any sense. Nothing to do with the challenge. Different audience. We're not watching Romper Room. It's very weird that Puss in Boots was such a tie-in.
So right, and they really had to reach and push to try to make the connection between the two, right? It's like, okay, well, cats have 9 lives, and so now we're going to integrate lives into this challenge. But I will say, I really enjoy the challenge of the day. So the fact that Puss in Boots was the inspiration, it worked for me in terms of the game. But in terms of all of the product placement and the advertisement, I was like, wow, they're really making a lot of money off of this. Who would have?
Yeah.
I guess.
Again, I like to tell you who I turn to when I'm watching. Turn to my husband. I'm like, how? So who went to who? Did Puss in Boots go to the challenge and beg for them to use their platform for all this advertisement? Like you said, Pam,
I have a new theory.
Demographic doesn't match.
I have a new theory that's come across during this past 3 minutes while we've been talking. And it's that it is the same studio, like Viacom or MTV or whatever. They are one and the same. And it was like, look, if we reach 5 people in the challenge audience, rad, people, movie attendance is down these days. We're going to really throw this in, that it wasn't a big money grab. It was just like, hey, we're the same parent company. Throw me a bone here. Or should I say some catnip and talk about Puss in Boots, and it's going to become a whole thing. And they were like, okay, all right, I guess we'll do it. And that it was that. And they're like, maybe someone's kids will be walking by while they're watching the show and they'll go, Mommy, I want to see that. I don't know.
Whatever it takes. You're right. Whatever it takes.
It's just disappointing because this episode had so much going for it, but it also had 2 things that were really holding it back. And that was that blatant advertisement that took up way too much time. And also Kenny was a centric piece of this was his episode. And one of the challenge T sites put up a thing saying someone needs to be fired over at MTV, whoever accepted him as a cast member, because he's probably the worst cast member to ever appear on the challenge. They said it, not me, but he's up there for me for sure. He just doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe this episode was all about him. It's like, as soon as Casey was not with him, you knew he was going home. It was really bad.
Well, that's where call me conspiracy Pam, but this is my, sorry, I'm jumping ahead, Jenna, but this is my
take it away
overall irritation with the episode that had some good parts. But overall, I'm like, yeah, I like it, but not enough. And I'll tell you why. Everything seems okay. So I was a believer in team, not Fessy, I forget already. Mariah's team.
Mariah.
Like it depends on what the thing is. They're not terrible.
Team
they
Not Fessy is a team of its own. Team Not Fessy is
yes,
is you can be on.
Secondary team, but also on that team. But and then this was so completely, I was like, I'm not even like, again, where we give it the phone in my hand or no phone in my hand competition. This was a phone in my hand. I'm like, oh, well, wow. I mean, unless some bizarre miracle happens, like this is a team of giant people for smaller people that have other strengths. But when it's like tiger bat someone off a thing, again, there were some moments where it was exciting, but it was like, give me a break. And then I don't know. I just felt like it was so contrived. Oh, good. You've got
right, Dan?
Yeah, do you not see all the light that just this light just flew on in this park? I could probably sit in my car now and have plenty of light to do the show from there.
You think they did it for Pam, you? They saw you out there and they're like, oh, we need to give this guy some key.
We gotta give this kid some light.
A studio, Pam, sir?
Pam, I know you didn't. I liked it for the opposite reason because I was rooting for the underdog so hard.
Was I?
So hard throughout this challenge. Well, you said you had your head down in your phone a little bit.
Like, no, I was rooting for them, but I was also
waiting for one
defeated
team
before it began with this challenge. I was like, come on. I used to not fall for the like, this is all a conspiracy to like have Johnny Bananas live his best life. Although he didn't get to live his best life. However, sort of, the team won. But now I'm like, it kind of is. Like, this is also...
It may have been poor timing with the Puss in Boots product placement that this was the challenge that they had set up for Puss in Boots, and this is the first team challenge. And so it could have just, that's where the chips had fallen. Maybe it was just bad timing. Yes. I do agree. I thought it was very annoying that the first team challenge that they separate is one where it's so brute dominant, and you have a team that's all brute and a team that is more strategy and intelligence based, that you literally put these two teams on a platform against each other and you see a significant difference in weight and height and muscle and everything, and every factor that makes you viable in this challenge. There was clearly a very opposite look happening.
Like, I was rooting for Mariah's team too, but I didn't ever think they might win because the odds were really stacked against them. I mean, it was really a kind of a no-brainer, unfortunately. And that's where I agree, Jen. It might just be timing that this one was the first one, but it was like, give me a break. Give something a little running. They've got downfalls. They've got people that don't have good endurance. They've got this and that. They could have mixed it up a little bit.
Come on. The producers knew going into this one who was going to win this. No doubt in their minds. So it is what it is. Can we take it back to like the vignette portion?
Oh, yes.
So back to the vignette portion, I do also want to comment on Pam's phone test. For me, it's interesting that you said that, Pam, that your head was in your phone or in your hand. For me, mine's like thrown across the room. If it wasn't for me having to take notes, I loved this episode. So my overall take on the episode is I was fully locked in. I thought it was very full. And Kenny and his storyline did not bother me at all because I felt like there was a lot more going on. I know it really did not get under my skin like normally, or like we talked about him kind of being this wallflower and us being like, haha, Kenny's here, haha, Casey's here. I felt like this was a really full episode to me, and we saw a lot of conversations and a lot of storylines. So Kenny he fit in for me. His storyline was just another one that I found interesting and one that didn't bother me.
Was not bothered by it, but it's almost somewhere in between what both of you are saying. I wasn't bothered like Dan, and I also didn't mind it, Jenna, but where I felt different from you guys is that he's so uninteresting that even when they were giving him a moment, I felt bad. Like, I almost felt like Nani had to fake caring if Kenny went home. It was like, my dad told us we had to be there for each other, so I really don't want to see him go home. It was like, he doesn't give a shit. Nobody cares, us included. Like, Kenny doesn't care, the team, the players don't care, and we don't care. So it was very hard to give a shit with the twist we got at the end. I wish it was like some sort of upset where we gave one flying fuck about the person that was leaving, because this was like, what? No shit. And it was like, no, literally no shit. Like, who cares?
So, Pamela, I got so excited when they started showing like all the silhouette shots at the end. I'm like, oh my God, maybe a mercenary is going to come in. Maybe we're going to see someone we haven't seen in a while. And I'm like, oh my God, they're letting Kenny stay in this game. What an awful twist. It could have been such a good twist if anyone else was eliminated besides him, because he just needs to go. Here's the word I want to use to describe Kenny throughout this episode. I was embarrassed for him. Every time he tried to do something, every time he tried to like say something either interesting or something, I was like, I don't do that with any other challenger. I just treat them as a character on TV. For him, I'm treating him like a human being. Where I'm like, God, he shouldn't be here. I can't believe he's like, ugh. And Casey did all the talking for him half the time. Go easy, it's my brother. Go easy. Casey, all right, you're gonna bring your brother on a reality TV. Let him be on reality TV and stop like trying to like stop the natural reality
Kenny
from happening.
Yeah,
Free me from Kenny.
Also, I like to like when we trash people, I'm like, they signed up for whatever, they're on TV. They like took off from their jobs and auditioned for 6 months. Don't give me this. Like, it just happened. Like, you tried to be on it. This one, I feel like Kenny probably really was like, ugh, anyone, you can't get anyone else. And they were like, come on, can't Bailey be her ride or die or something? And Bailey was like, just had a baby. And like, it just worked out that they had to make him her ride or die for Casey to be on, and that like no one was psyched about it, Kenny and Casey included.
And that might be true. Like Casey's like, I want my brother on it or I'm not doing it again. But my whole point is, I think that Casey should have been paired up with Fessy because they truly are ride or dies as far as I'm concerned. I feel like she's the only one that actually likes this kid. And I'm sorry, but Mariah and Kenny should never have been asked on this show. Mariah's fine and all, but Casey and Fessy are obviously the better. They're a real ride or die where everyone's bitching about like, why is Jordan with Anissa and all stuff, but we actually had a real ride or die and they decided not to use it. It's like, okay, makes no sense to me.
Yeah, that would have been a good partnership. Good point. But I'm actually glad that they did bring Mariah in because I do really like her and I think she has a lot of potential and she's a strong female competitor and there's such a drop off in that category at times, where we don't always get the same tier of competitiveness in a lot of the women athletes. But I think you guys are dogging Kenny a little hard this episode.
Oh no, I stand behind my dog and Kenny. And again, I feel like poor Kenny doesn't want to be there. I feel like Kenny was like, yes, I get to go home with my baby and my wife.
That's true. He does have a kid and a wife at home. And I think he was, when he found out that he was staying in the game, I don't know if he even wanted to be finding out that information, but Kenny aside, I do like that twist. I think that that's awesome. And I hope that it's obviously in a separate house. We don't know exactly how it's going to play out. Right. You have to imagine that the only answer is for them to be in a different redemption house so that they don't mix those storylines. So that way their ride or dies are ignorant to the fact that their other ride or die is still in the game, because that would be fun for them to be reconnected later on. I think it's awesome that people still get a chance to go to the final with the person that they came to the game with.
Well,
agreed, Jenna, but I really hope that they have to earn their way back in the house. I hope that if Casey makes it to the end, Kenny just doesn't get to like pop out and say, hey, I'm back. I hope that he has to do some type of challenge to get back in. And then let's say some of the ride or dies don't complete it or do something. Then the people that are in the house, they have to leave with the ride or die that couldn't. Like this shit, if you're a ride or die, it has to be a 50-50 split of like, you're doing this, I'm doing this. So what? So Casey makes it to the end and Kenny just gets to come back scot-free. I really think he should have to earn it. And then if he doesn't earn it, guess what, Casey? You have to go home too. I don't think it'll play out that way, but I hope that it does.
Ooh, I do. I think it will. I think they'll find out in the final. And it's like, you made it to the final and guess what, who your partner is? Your ride or fucking die. Like, I think Anissa knows this game well enough, knows MTV and its twist well enough that when they were discussing, and sorry, Jenna, I'm all over the place, when they were discussing who to get rid of and should we get rid of Jordan, she was like, well, if they like put us back with our ride or dies at some point, we don't want that. Like, she was like, get rid of Jordan right now in case there's.
Hey, Pam, how come you don't apologize to me when I'm lead hosting for going all over the place? Yes, Jenna. All right.
This is not lead hosting. We are all over the place, but I do think that's fine and it's organic, and it's important to touch on the bigger takeaways of the episode rather than going through like beat by beat things that might feel irrelevant. But that being said, let's go back to the top of the episode, because we do need to break down some stuff in maybe a little bit more of a chronological order to make it easier. So we get back into the house after the teams are picked, and I'm actually reviewing the episode to my husband because he missed the last 15 minutes of the last episode before he watched this one, and I was realizing just how much I truly loved that they did this twist in the game. I love that they broke up into teams, and I love the way that they picked them and trying to see how it's going to shake out. And we get back in the house and Fessy giving a speech with oven mitts on, talking to his fellow teammates, so ecstatic that he has what everybody thinks is on the surface the best players in the game, the best team in the house. Johnny literally uses the phrase, on the surface, we have the best team. And I'm thinking that's interesting that he uses that terminology because, you know, they do these confessionals however many days after something happens. So I'm thinking, ooh, does this mean that his team is not going to pan out the way that we foresee it because they're so stacked with the strong people?
I think he's, again, smart enough, like Anissa, like these people that have been doing this for 25 years, they know that nothing's a guarantee. For example, Johnny against Horacio would look like an easy win, but it wasn't. I mean, there's no guarantees, and you don't want to sit there like Fessy, who hasn't learned yet, a little humility, and we win. We're the big ones, we're going to crush them, and you see something happen, and those assholes fall all over themselves. So I think Bananas does know a little bit then to sit there and say, I'm the best, I'm the champ, I'm awesome.
Next week, there's going to be a daily challenge where they all have to be chained together and they have to run 3 miles. And guess what? The yellow team's going to win that one. I'm sorry, Anissa, but it's going to happen. Like, they're going to do something to do the equalizers like we always talk about. And guess what? When they chain Anissa to everybody else on that team, she's going to anchor them down. It is what it is. It's going to be equalizers coming up.
Yes.
Yeah, you're only as strong as your weakest link, for sure. But the thing is that Team Fessy seems very comfortable, cocky, confident, and Team Mariah already seems like they're having a loser's mentality and an underdog mentality about themselves. And I'm like, you guys, you have Jordan on your team. You have Amber B.
And Horacio, who's turning out to be
really great young female players between Mariah, Nerys, Olivia's on the other team. But they have a really good young squad of
I agree. They're not, I would not count them out, and they shouldn't sit there and think that they're losers. Like, again, Bananas was like, God, Fessy walked away, the winner got everything. It's like they picked on and off, and she got her picks too. I don't think they're as awful as they're making them out to be, and I think they wanted to. Again, I feel like I'm just being manipulated by production so much that I'm like starting to resent it. That again, they sit there and talk about how stacked Fessy's team is, and then they give a competition that's fully in their favor. So we're supposed to think, we're being led like morons to think, oh, they're not good at all. And it's like, well, I mean, that's not really true. So let's, again, have an equalizer or something.
Yeah, just can't rule yourself out before you even have a chance to play the game. Like, you've already lost if you're going into it. Like, they're sitting around in a circle kind of talking about like, well, guys, I think we're okay, all right? Like, let's just stay positive, okay? And it's like, oh, I feel like you guys have already lost in your minds.
Well, here's the issue is, yes, they have Jordan, who I think is one of the best competitors to ever play. But they have to work as a team to do a lot of these challenges. So Jordan can't do every single. If Jordan could have gone up against every guy on that platform tonight, yeah, maybe they have a little better of a chance because he's just so frisky and he'll go all out. But everyone had to participate. So therefore, yeah, you have Jordan. That's great. But the rest of your team isn't as strong as the other team. And I'll say this, Pam, I said it last week, the conspiracy I had, and I think it is true. Fessy got to pick 2 dudes in a row, and I still don't get why he didn't have to switch off and pick a girl. I don't know if you might have had to go before you got to hear that conspiracy, but
no, I heard it. I agree, it was weird.
It's very weird that he got to pick 2 dudes in a row. So my theory is Nelson should be on the other team, and I don't get how that all worked out because that would make it a lot more fair. If Nelson,
I don't either.
I don't want to just put all the praise on Jordan because we saw in the challenge Jordan couldn't get it done when Horacio did, and Horacio,
I agree,
fantastic. Oh, I'm sorry. I just think that team. I agree. If it wasn't this competition, that's like, me knocked down. This was a whole competition. Other than that, I think that Mariah's team is equal in different ways. I don't think that I agree that they shouldn't be already losing mentality. They don't have the brute strength for sure. And this was all about brute strength, but they've got a lot of other things that
I just wanted all of them to know their own worth. And even like Devin's looking down, it's like, Devin, you're smart, you have strategy, you're seasoned in this game, you've been here, for several seasons, that you have the experience. It felt like, and seeing the contrast was interesting. Like all of like the hot shots sitting at the dinner table thinking like their shit doesn't stink, and then you have like the loser circle who are not losers at all, and you just want them to have that confidence that they should.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that producers are playing that up for fun as well? Like, hey, Fessy, go put on some cooking gloves, like you're gonna make them a feast, and hey, everyone else, go sit around the couches and make it look like you're really not feeling? What's going on? Like,
well, I'm glad you bring that up, Dan, because I felt like, you know, how we talked about in the last few weeks that you can feel the production obviously in this show, and it doesn't feel like people are just running around a house and we have a camera following them 24/7. Perfect example of this is when Jordan and Devin find themselves at a fire pit outside alone.
Find themselves, right? Jordan and Devin were just snuggling up by the fire.
They just find themselves alone, two people who always dislike each other, and we don't see how they got there. I mean, it does make sense. We can logically theorize, okay, these are two people who dislike each other and don't have trust for each other, but realize, hey, we're on the same team now. Let's go work it out. Let's go to a private space and talk about it. Totally logical, totally possible. But the fact that we're already there, we're just like, cut to these two around the fireplace. We're like, okay, well, this seems like, you know, maybe this was set up like Casey asking her best friend ever why he's deciding to use a different name, as if they haven't discussed that before. So that kind of had that giveaway. But how'd you guys feel about that conversation?
I mean, the conversation needed to happen, obviously, but yeah, you're right, Jen. It wouldn't have been nice if it just happened organically and naturally. This is what really happens on these reality show sets. They say, okay, we're going to film the first shot of the day. We're going to film Devin talking with Jordan by the fire. Okay, well, they'll be like the last shot of the day, but whatever. They plan these things out and they expect us not to figure it out as an audience, versus back in the day, it was literally a party. So I'm glad the conversation happened. I'm glad that at the end we did see the trust happen, where Devin decided to save Jordan, which, I mean, come on. You really were going to save Kenny so the other team would like you better, Devin? Like, he made it sound like I never go back on my promises. Dude, you need Jordan, and we all know you need Jordan. So stop acting holier than now. And, you know, come on. He needed to do that.
Everyone always has to have their little spiel. You know, they got to play it up. He knows, oh, this could be a good cliffhanger for the commercial. Here, let me make it seem like I'm going to make the other decision.
But none of us thought it, Jenna. We all was like, he's lying. He's not really going to do anything.
I bet you it's mandatory, but they're like, hey,
oh yeah,
everyone down. Before you make any decision in this game, make sure you have a monologue first. Just come prepared to give a nice heroic Shakespearean spiel before you go.
Well, how about tonight when TJ was like, all right, all 8 of you are going to get a vote right now, and you all have to tell me why you're voting for this person. I'm like, we have to sit through 8 people telling us a bunch of BS? Like, I cannot believe we have to watch an hour and a half of this every week. This was like my favorite show growing up. And now it's like turning into, cut it down to an hour. I don't need to hear 8 people's votes. Give the job to one person. They're trying to create drama because not everyone knew where their votes were going. Like, they could have made it so they decide ahead of time. They come with the one vote. But the producer's like, oh, we want more drama, so we don't need you guys to make your decision yet. Let's wait till the zone area. Garbage drama.
The why is $1 million. If you need to ask somebody why you are voting somebody, and it's like game show, money.
Thank you.
Answer. But I still feel, go ahead, Pam.
No, I was going to say, and what is the point of having the interrogation room? And then a thing, again, it used to be the sitting in the room where it's like, oh shit, we have to decide now. All right, I guess I'm going to go with, that's what we want. Like, don't give us an interrogation discussion and then a vote. It's like one step too many.
I'm not mad at the interrogation room. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was funny that everybody had to go in there solo against a team of 10 and be in the hot seat. I still feel excited and entertained and optimistic about this season. I'm definitely still in. This episode was actually really fun for me. I really enjoyed all of it. But about the content of their conversation, Jordan and Devin, there's talk of Tori, and I find it really nice that Devin, you're talking with somebody and somebody's venting to you about their relationship. You could very much easily just be agreeable and say like, oh yeah, man, like I see that, or, oh yeah, she shouldn't have done that. But he stays a good, loyal friend to Tori and is like, no, go easy on her. She's trying her best. So I thought that was cool of him.
I think I figured out why Jordan is so upset though. People wrote in our comments section about Emmanuel. And they're like, oh, and I was like, oh, that makes a little more sense now.
I forgot about all that. I thought it was still over Fessy.
I forgot about it too, and I dressed up like this guy for freaking Halloween 2 years ago, and I forgot about it. But I think that's why Jordan's so upset, because she did have this very long, drawn-out involvement with him throughout that season. So Jordan had to, in theory, if he wanted to watch a challenge, he had to deal with watching that relationship. So now he's like, well, now I'm trying to be with Nerys and just have it be casual, like you had it be casual with Emmanuel, but now you're getting mad. Like,
but
I'm
Jordan
doing the same
wasn't
thing you already
there
did.
physically. I mean, the defense. So two things to say on that, which is one, I'm so glad you brought it up because I completely forgot. And when Jordan, during that conversation with Devin, was like, she also had a globally viewed romance. I didn't.
And that's
know
what he was. That's what
about.
he was referencing, right?
Right. I thought he was talking about the whole Fessy thing, and I was like, get over it. She apologized. She didn't like him. It was a mistake. Whatever. Right. He's saying you had like a full blown romance with someone. I get it, his point, but she wasn't sitting in front of him. She wasn't physically there in the house with him. I think Jordan is being a little petty. Does he have the right to be? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, listen, I love Jordan and I love Tori. I think he's being, I think he's not being as considerate as he could be.
Or
And
do you think it's more spite driven? Like
I think it's both. I think he really
Yeah.
likes Nerys. I don't think it's not that he doesn't, but yes, he's certainly aware that she had another relationship on TV after him, and why shouldn't he be able to as well?
Yeah, I completely agree that I feel for him on that front. That has to be so heartbreaking and painful to be at home wanting to watch a show that you're on with your friends and you see your ex-fiance making out with somebody, moving on like that, having fun with it. It sucks. Absolutely. I totally agree with him and see his point of view. I do, although, think that there is a difference between, although, it's on TV and it sucks, and maybe that was too soon for him and that was inconsiderate of her. Maybe she should have thought about, cameras are recording this, maybe I shouldn't do that. But I do think there's a difference between being separated from somebody, broken up, having drawn that line of this is a breakup and now I'm doing something with somebody new because I am single, versus cuddling, sleeping together naked, saying I love you, saying I want to reconnect outside of the house and talk to you outside of the show, and then turning around next night hooking up with somebody else. He's yes. Almost like two timing Tori, when Tori was just doing it on camera, yes, hurting him, but
Jordan wasn't in the house with them watching.
But also, yeah, there's a clear breakup, and this, it feels like the lines are kind of blurring in terms of them rekindling. So it almost is like they could potentially get back together, and he's doing that on the side. Yeah. It's sloppier. It's definitely worse.
All Jordan did wrong, in my opinion, is technically he was on the couch with Nerys. He was a little cuddly with her. It wasn't even that cuddly. Everything else he did behind closed doors. He did not rub it in Tori's face. He kept to himself about it. It's only him and Nerys in that room. There's no one else even there to, in theory, blab around the house that they are kissing in bed and cuddling at night. And yes, I get the whole concept of him with Tori on the same season being naked in bed. I mean, naked in bed, that is very intimate shit right there. So yes, that also we can put on Jordan too, but technically is single, and so is Tori. So it's hard for me to get
the exchanging of I love yous. It's more of like they were going to be married, and then it's like, oh, and you're saying you love me and you want to talk to me outside of the show, but then you're looking at someone else. Like, I don't know.
They just recently filmed the reunion, and Tori and Jordan and a few others, they were all in a picture together, and Tori was right next to Jordan. They were both smiling together. So I'm thinking that they're okay.
I feel this is my conclusion on this. Jordan is not doing anything wrong. However, that doesn't mean that Tori doesn't have a complete, total, and relatable right to be completely upset. Mm-hmm. Like, again, it's not the kind of thing where it's like, screw you, now I hate him. It's just, I would be upset too if I was in her situation. And if I were Jordan and I was clicking with someone else, would I do what he's doing? Yes. I mean, like, I understand both of them. I don't think one's wrong and one's right. But I would most certainly be fucking upset if my ex-fiance was in bed naked with me, telling me he loves me, and then hooking up with someone else in the house I had to live in.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's not over yet, ladies. We're going to hear more about it next week. It was all in the previews, and I can't wait.
Good.
Yeah. And Tori gets to talk to Nerys, which should be interesting. So I'm looking forward to that too. Any other vignettes, Dan, that we missed, Mr. Vignette Man?
I don't think so. I think we did. Oh, well, there was I wrote down my own vignette that didn't actually happen on the show, but they nicknamed online. They think that Chauncey looks like Michael B. Jordan, but instead of calling him Michael B. Jordan, they called him Michael C. Jordan. I assume the C.
Yes.
Now I assume originally I thought the C stood for it was not as good as a B if you get a B in school, like
Chauncey.
But I know it's for Chauncey, but I like it more as he's not a very good challenger, so it's a C as he's average.
Like Michael B. minus Jordan.
Yeah. Or like when people say they have something at home, where it's like, Mom, we have food at home. The food at home. You know, it's
right.
They're like, oh, this is Drake at home. This is Michael B. Jordan at home.
Right.
Yeah, something like that. Sure.
I like it. I like
okay.
Oh, I never thought I'd see Antonio Banderas on the challenge. I wrote that down. He did like a whole interview for the damn thing. Oh,
I don't think he ever predicted that would be a part of his life either. He was not like, wow, this is what I'm doing now. Bring in the teleprompter. Let me read this hit real quick.
I think like what is Survivor, the CBS and MTV? I think it was maybe supposed to be Survivor, which people watch as family, and it got bumped from the Survivor segment. And they were like, come on, challenge. You are taking one for the team. You're going to have this Antonio Banderas interview. Like it didn't make any sense. It was so weird. But I have one nice thing to say, speaking of Chauncey, about Amber B, which my most hated thing on reality TV is when girls are like, she's jealous. But today I was like, God, Amber B's so fucking pretty. Maybe everyone just hates her because she's so fucking pretty. I feel like, shut up with your prettiness. Like, get up here. She's so pretty. And like, in her happy, that I feel like it'd be annoying to me. I'd be like, I'm
nice.
And I whine a lot.
Did you hear what Amber B said in the confessional tonight in regards to Tori and Jordan's relationship and why it was like so hard for them to be in the same house together? She literally goes to the camera and she says, like, they were engaged. That's what she says. I go, no shit, Amber. Thanks for telling us stuff we don't know already. Like, get out of here. Why was that used? Like, they were engaged.
She's saying it's not like they were hooking up or boyfriend and girlfriend.
That's what I keep saying. I get it.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing though, Jenny. You're so nice about it. Like, I always try to find the digs that I can find for Amber B, and you always take the.
And I'm like, no, you don't talk about my girl like that. Okay.
I know.
I have the lesser version of Zoom, so it's going to cut out in 2 minutes. So let me end this, this recording export, and then I'll send a new link.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.
3, 2, 1. Okay, we are back. Sorry about that. I have cheap Zoom. Okay, so we talked about the vignettes early in the episode. So let's get into the challenge, even though we did talk about it a little bit. Obviously, we know it was advertised by Puss in Boots, and they're playing up the whole cat. What is this called? Fencing? Cat fencing activity that they're doing. So what else do we need to, what was your favorite
Nani.
Fessy.
Nani.
Poor Nani. Yeah, that was scary. She's like, I mean, that was like a full-on, like, scary thing.
I think she had the wind knocked out of her for the most part, and then I think she was just in the ambulance. It looked really bad, but I think she was just shivering because she was cold.
Yeah, but it looked like she was having seizures. I mean, like, it looked really scary.
And you know, I wanted to mention this. They never showed that in regular motion, whatever you want to call it, just natural. They slowed it down on purpose. I think it looked really bad in regular time. And they showed it one time only, and they showed it in slow motion. They refused to show that thing regular. I'm telling you, they're worried. I don't know how that people could sue them. They obviously all signed waivers and stuff, but they didn't want it to look that bad of a fall. But in real time, like when Leroy, same type of thing, when he fell off the car on the slippery car and fell and did that, they showed that in real time and it looked brutal. I think it looked the same. This thing looked the same way, and they were afraid to show it in real time.
I feel like the only reason I wasn't that scared after we saw that very scary shot of her in the ambulance was because everyone was like, bye, Nani, like when she drove up. Like Casey and Bananas were both like, oh, bye, Nani, we'll see you later tonight. Like, she was fine-ish. That just showed us the scariest, shiveriest shot.
You know what would have really...
They did a good job of playing me, because she looked, the way she was shaking, and like you said, Dan, I was confused about the fall, what happened. They're just showing what appears to be a lifeless body floating in the water. It was not looking good. I was surprised when later on in the episode, she came like running in, like doing exorcism spins with her head. Like she had full mobility completely.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to go home, honestly.
I didn't, because they were, again, because the way that they were like, oh, well, anyway, moving on to the next thing, like, bye, Nani, as the ambulance rolled off. It wasn't tears or concern. It was literally like, wave goodbye.
You know what could have changed my mind on Casey, at least for the remainder of the episode, is if she jumped off that platform and said, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to the ambulance with Nani. I'm forfeiting my spot. She knew how strong her team was. She still stayed up there. Come on, Casey, go with your girl. I'm telling you right now, if anything ever happened to Stacey like that, I'm done with the challenge for that day. I'm going with her in that ambulance. And I'm a little surprised that she didn't go with her. That looked really bad. And I don't care how many producers are telling me that she's absolutely fine. I'm like, she's in a damn ambulance and you're taking her somewhere. I'm going with her. I don't need to be a part of this challenge. The world is bigger than the damn challenge.
Is it bigger than $1 million though? I mean, it could pay for.
I don't think they would not have kicked off their power girl Casey, who they love, their queen of the challenge, for wanting to go with her girl. So yeah, that's my point.
Her team needed her, Dan. It is funny that they played that. She's like, I'm dying. I just want to go down there and help her, but you know, her team needs her.
Screw it. I would have left.
In Casey's defense, I'm sure she was like, we can get to the bottom of this on like whatever. We'll have to listen to something, but I do think Casey would very much have been like, I need to go with her. And I think for whatever reason, whether it was Nani herself or whatever, they were like, no, it's fine. Because I think she would have.
Okay.
That's my, I don't know.
Okay.
Because I don't have an argument for it because I don't know what really happened. And maybe Nani yelled up to her, I'm fine. Stay, Casey. Then in that case, that's a different story. Yeah. But we didn't see any of that.
We don't see anything. This show now is just this choreographed. Again, I'm feeling cynical. I like, Jenna, that you're positive and in it because I'm just like, what is this nonsense they're giving us? I kind of enjoy it for the outcome, but I'm not like at all riveted like I used to be, where I'm like, what's going to happen? It's like, so not to use the word.
Let's give them some credit, Pam, though. They are trying some new things. The fact that they are having Kenny stay and having your ride or die stay in the house, which kind of makes sense because we were like, wait, why is it called ride or dies if you're just going to start now? It's you're on separate teams and then people are going to start going home and you don't have ride or die anymore. This way they're keeping the ride or die theme at least going throughout the entire season. So that's they're making moves. I'm trying to stay positive here, but I'm probably the most negative out of the three of us. So this is saying a lot.
It is. I will care when it's not Kenny. Like I had no dogs in this. What is
that was the problem, Pam?
Dogs in the bark and the bark's in the dog.
That was so funny.
I really loved it.
A positive thing. That was
that was my favorite moment. Devin is. I'm enjoying Devin. Jordan, I feel like, is being in his, not the interpersonal things, which I believe are real, but in even his talking to the camera, Jordan is like caricaturing himself.
Well, how about the way he talks to the rest of the cast in the interrogation? That was hilarious. What he was saying to them. He was having a blast in there.
Oh yeah, Jordan is.
He's like, what do you think's gonna happen if you put me down there? I'm gonna go against Kenny, and I'll be back in this effing house. So knock it off with your BS and put someone else down. It was great. I love it.
No, Jordan is great. But he clearly.
But the thing is, wait, I do want to get into interrogation. We haven't gotten that far yet because we still are on the daily challenge. I liked this challenge. I know that it sucks that we talked about that they were outweighed and kind of outmatched in their brute strength, and it played totally into Team Fessy and did not help Team Mariah's strengths at all. But we love this kind of old school vintage challenge where it's just walk the plank and throw each other off of it. And hands down, the best part is Horacio manhandling bananas off of it. It's all I wanted to happen, and I was so happy that it did. And I wanted a few of the reverse situations similar to that to happen. For example, I wanted Mariah to get Casey off, and I thought it would have been fun. Who went against Anissa? But I was really,
I really wanted
Narice.
I wanted Narice to get off Anissa, but I liked this one because this was making me think about strategy and thinking about if you were in this game, what would you do? And you see a lot of the people as they approach each other just wrap up their arms. And I'm like, why is nobody going low? Why is nobody trying to go for someone's ankles? Go for the knees, kick them off. And I don't know if there was limitations to the rules that they could do. We always wonder that when we see people not doing things that we think that they should do. But yeah, I like thinking about the strategies and just the whole competition part of this game.
Sorry, go Pam.
No, Dan, I'm sorry. Well, first, Dan, you look very much like you're about to catch a predator, and I'm here for it. Like Dan's like, he's going in the house right now. He just brought a can of beer to the 14-year-old girl posing as an adult or whatever. Anyway, it does funny. If you look like you're on a stakeout, I like it. But there were some good, as much as I'm dogging this just because it was pretty obvious, I had some good moments too. I think Fessy is the biggest pussy chicken. I wish Turbo would take him out or something for going against Kenny. That was his first.
Well, that was technically, I think Kenny's team chose him to go against him because they thought there's no way anyone's going to beat Fessy. So it's like, well, let's have our worst player go against the biggest one. because it won't matter anyways. Why put Jordan against
right,
Fessy?
why waste a Fessy verse?
That's what it was.
I get
Yeah.
it.
Wait,
Well,
but on that point, that actually annoys me that nobody thinks anybody could take out Jordan. I'm sorry, Fessy. Nobody thinks they can take out Fessy. I get it. Dude's like 6'5" or whatever, however tall he is, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be super nimble or strategic with it. Like, if you go in with the right strategy, I feel like Horacio could have taken him. I feel like
I do too.
I have the strategy. I figured out the strategy for Fessy. Okay.
Wow.
If I'm going against Fessy, I'm running full steam ahead at him. It's not a wide berth of the canal of the platform. It's not very wide. You run full speed at him. You jump into his arms and you bear hug him. You hold on for dear life, and one of y'all is just going to fall off, and maybe that's your best bet as far as, maybe you still land before he lands in the water, but if you both fall, it's anyone's game. I would have wrapped him up like a bear and just hung on, let him shake around, and so he's going to slip off, and then we go for a ride. That's what I would have done, and that's it.
I would have slid and like karate chopped his feet off.
Not enough room, Pamela. Not enough room for that.
I was thinking slide tackle that whole time too. I was like, why is nobody just sprinting at him full speed, slide tackling him, going for the ankles, getting him off the platform?
It's thinner than you think, and I think they were afraid of falling off. They were pretty high up.
I get it, but as tall as he is, it wasn't as though he was looking super athletic up there. He looked a little bit Bambi with his legs. Totally, his limbs are flying everywhere. I mean, granted, in his mind, I think he was taking it easy on Kenny. I think he already felt in his heart that he won that. So maybe he wasn't going as hard as, maybe he wasn't squaring up as athletically as he would versus a Jordan or whoever. But yeah, it looked like there was definitely weaknesses in his strategy, in his footing, that they could have taken him.
Yeah, I feel like also if Horacio, I don't know how quickly, I feel like he had just gone or something. I feel like he could have taken him too, because Fessy is large, but I don't think he's great with balance or coordination as much as like a Jordan or a Horacio are.
So I think I'll disagree on this note. He played football, and they're all about being, light on your feet, twinkle toes, all that kind of stuff. A lot of them take dance classes to play football. Like, they want to be able to move and move in these weird ways to be able to do things on the football field. So I think you ladies are underestimating Fessy in that regard. He's a block.
Yeah, maybe it's because
nowhere.
Maybe what annoys me is him walking away from a fight like that, like puffing his chest with his shit out wide. And it's like, dude, you just biologically are bigger and taller than everybody, and you're acting like you really did that, you really worked for that win, when it's just that you were biologically more blessed than Kenny in your height and stature. Anyway, that's what I know. He's just an asshole.
Such an asshole. He really, it's like,
but it sucks that we didn't get to see anybody give him a little run for his money, somebody challenge him. Like the whole thing with the hall brawl, whoever gets 2 hall brawls in one season, Fessy, the guy who's 6'5", because that's all he wants. Put him in there with the puzzle, he's probably not going to thrive. So why does he get 2 hall brawls? It's the context. It's the buildup.
Wait until his feet are attached to Anissa's ankles, and they're going to have so much fun this season. Cannot wait.
We'll see his true colors come out, because he's been trying to keep them under wraps. Yeah, he's been trying to be nice guy this season, and he can't maintain it.
He's really not being that nice though, Pam, either. He's hooking up with multiple women in the house, or at least going after multiple women. He's treating Mariah like crap now. His niceness.
He was trying in the beginning. He just can't, because he's not nice. I mean, yeah, he was trying really, like, I've changed. I'm Fessel now, and I'm a new man.
He was playing us. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, Pam. He was playing us.
I don't think he's playing himself. I think he thought, I'm a new man. And it's like, no, you're not.
Can we talk about the interrogation and the mirrored image they showed of Tori and Jordan multiple times?
That was great.
It was so funny, and I'm like, it's so good.
A few more things before we get into interrogation.
Even more? Oh my goodness.
More, Dan. Do not stomp on my lead hosting tonight, okay?
Oh, I didn't realize there was more.
Lead host, and you will respect. But I wanted to give a shout out to Chauncey, because that was really impressive. Him beating Jordan, and him actually wow, Dan, you're being a hater to Chauncey.
I agree.
He's double the size of Jordan. Of course he's going to win. I'm sorry. Jordan is not that big.
That's why Jordan was going.
He slapped him around a little bit. Let's be honest. Chauncey manhandled him.
Yeah, because
he
he's
did
double his
fine, but
size.
So
I agree that Jordan was like,
he's Jordan though, and he's
Jordan can do anything, but I don't think Jordan, he's like, the dad, like Jordan's confessional, I just thought was funny at this point. He's like, I don't fucking care. He's just sitting there. He's like, yeah, no one.
He's like, wait till you see how I'll let you show how daddy does it. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
daddy's
daddy's got
daddy.
ass kicked.
It was funny though. I mean, I bet he did that after he had already lost.
I think because Chauncey has had such a mediocre season, we're forgetting how like jacked up this dude is. This dude, isn't he like just known on his Instagram for putting out like workout stuff? Isn't that like what he does? Is workout every effing day? Like this dude is massive.
Everyone on this show does.
Right. It's like, what else?
And workouts on their Instagram.
But like Bananas doesn't promote like working out on his Instagram. Like he's not like, oh, like it's not, he's just this other stuff. Like Chauncey is like every day it's a naked shot of him. Like that's my point. It's difference between all being like Horacio's in shape, but I don't think every day. I'm sure he posts like soccer videos of him playing soccer, but not like, oh, I'm at the gym again.
It's not like like Emily or Rachel, but like that's what they do. They're fitness.
Right. There's a difference. I feel like they're all in shape for sure. Well, almost all.
Yeah. Horacio was making me nervous though. That was long, and he looked like he was gonna fall off a few times. He always kept his footing though, and I was just so happy when he got Bananas off there, and he stayed on the plank too. He didn't even fall off.
It's interesting. Like I feel like he is like the rookie of the season, but in like past seasons, I feel like we've treated the rookies like this is like when Emmy, was it Emmy, the one with the blue hair that's never going to be allowed back on the show? The alien girl. How do you do it? Like everyone was hyping her up, like, oh my god, she's doing the most amazing stuff. Like Horacio's been down to 4 eliminations. I know he got helped on some of them and everything by but he's still winning. And I know he went against Kenny on one. Like there is things we can think about to say he's not doing as great, but he's still having to go down there and win. Like anything can happen.
Highlight for me this season. Great casting. I'm glad that they brought him on.
I'm excited about him. Him and Olivia, I think, are like the strong. Like I think we'll be back. Like and they definitely are doing good. And I'll wait until we're ready to talk about it.
Okay. The one other thing is before Nani fell down, I just appreciated her cat fighting, pun intended. That's what Nani does. And Anissa was so right, because that whole time I'm thinking like, damn, Nani's just so skinny. That's just, she can't ever win in these sort of dog fights because she's so skinny, but she will scratch and claw. She'll mess you up, and she gives it her all.
I have to give a shout out to Tori, because quintessential Tori moment where it was Jordan versus who?
Well, Jordan went against
Chauncey.
Right. Sorry, we just talked about that. Yeah. It was. Yeah, my brain is, I don't know, I'm a little out of it. But so Tori, I think this just reminded me of back to the other one. I think Tori just 100% wears her heart on her sleeve and plays and thinks with her heart. She's like, I'll always root for Jordan, even in the midst of all this drama that's going on. And that's where I remember last season she got shit for like cheering for Devin and the guy she was hooking up with, and everyone was so mad at her for not cheering for Devin. I'm like, she just in the moment is like, I don't want to see this person hurt. I don't want to see this person hurt. Like she just goes with her heart.
And she truly can't help herself either. Like in that season when she was Devin's friend, but also like helping Emmanuel play the elimination, she should have just simply not said anything.
Right. She can't help it.
She can't help herself. Like you should not be helping Emmanuel like try and beat Devin. Like,
she's trying to help everybody though. She's just a lover. I think she's just a good, she just doesn't want to see anyone lose.
Yeah. All right, guys, are we ready to move on to interrogation?
Yeah.
I know this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Everyone's just been biting at this to talk about the interrogation this whole time.
Chomping.
So yeah, as we saw, this is the winning team gets together first, and they kind of get to speak their piece, and it's very obvious. Cases like, I'm not saying my brother's name, and Anissa's trying to make a case for Jordan because they were ride or dies. Tori's trying to make her case for Devin. It's still kind of like the units of friends are still working together. What did you make of like the conversation with the big team? Any takeaways for you guys?
Well, they don't know what's going to happen later in the season. So I think the reason they're trying to hold on to their ride or dies is like, well, what if my ride or die goes home and I'm forced to go home too? Now we know that's not going to happen. But at the time, they don't know. And so they're a little worried about that. Most likely. That's what I took from it.
Oh, so you think that was the thing. I think that Anissa was saying, I don't want Jordan to go home. Not if he goes home, I'm going to go home. I think she was saying because in case there's any chance in hell we're reunited, I fucking want to be reunited with Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah, but at the same time, yeah, you what if though when your ride or die go home, you're forced to go home too? You're telling me
That
there's
would
not
be an
any
interesting
worry.
twist. I didn't
Now
even
they
think
don't
about that.
care because they know that that's not going to happen. But before, I think they were a little thinking about it at least.
Maybe we'll see if that affects the way they vote. I thought it was just, I don't know, a 10-on-1. The only thing I really took from it was the Tori and Jordan
Jordan, that's
conversation.
the only thing.
Yeah.
Jordan
How
talking to
awkward.
them, and then all the shots they kept showing of like her in the mirror when he's talking, and then vice versa. It was so hilarious.
It really
They were
was
great. They were
so
getting great
awkward
shots.
and funny. And I'm sure, it was edited that way with intention, because what was the other questions of the conversation? Because how awkward for Tori just to make it about their personal conversation in front of everybody. She's like, let's
Yes.
do the chase. If I was in your position, would you do this to me? Would you have my back? And I was like, oh, guys, this may be a conversation for you two in private later, because this is awkward.
And I didn't even entirely, I guess he was saying, of course, because at first when he was like, I would do what I said I would do from the beginning, which I was like, oh, did they say like we're playing this game for ourselves? I couldn't tell. And then it seemed like when he said, oh, that's insulting that she would even ask me.
I want her to be like, and do you still love me? And
Yeah.
what's your favorite thing about me?
Yeah.
Who do you like best, me or right? Like who do you like better?
Who's better, me or Nerys?
Unfortunately, it was that part of the fight in the interrogation room was a little unclear on what they were exactly saying.
It was.
And it would have been nice to have a little more context with that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that what's interesting is the way that it plays out is that somehow Jordan is able to evade being the main vote, and Horacio is great. I think that he is somebody that is so strong that an opposing team would want to get out of the house. But Jordan is clearly the number one pick. And the whole thing, I think Tori was trying to say at the club, which is smart of her to do some preemptive damage control because she knows the house is flipping and it's a girl's vote next week. So she's trying to keep herself protected and not piss Jordan off. So she does some great damage control for herself. But at the same time, I don't know how Fessy's taking this bait of like, well, let's protect Jordan because we don't want him to come back in the house mad. It's like, he knows he's on a different team than you. First off, he's always going to be targeting you guys and you're always going to be targeting him. So I kind of feel like you always have to take the chance of getting the strongest person out of the house. So I thought it was interesting how he was able to dodge that elimination because he should have been the clear choice.
Well, my concern here, though, with Fessy saying, oh, I want Jordan to go in, I'm like, Fessy, you want to burn that bridge, though, when you know damn well if he goes up against Kenny, there's just no chance. I know there's always an if factor but not with Kenny. Anybody else, yes, there's a chance they might win. I'm sorry, but if Jordan went against Kenny in anything, a freaking pie eating contest, Jordan's winning. It doesn't matter what it is. So for Fessy to try to die on that hill, like, I got to put Jordan down there now to shoot my shot. Shoot your shot at what? Having him come back more upset? Like, this is the one time maybe you don't, like, you just, like, wait till Kenny's gone. Then in 2 weeks, Jordan has to go against Horacio or Devin. That might be a little bit better, but I still don't count. Jordan's still probably going to win those matches. It's rough.
It's getting progressively darker and
it is. Dan is the predator now. He's not catching the predator. He is the predator.
They shut off the baseball diamond lights.
Looking like
might need to flip on the car lights for a little while. Just for a little while. We won't let you keep it on for hours.
They won't even turn on right. Look, I'm pressing them. They won't even turn on.
Wait. You better try and turn your car on. Make sure
I'll try to turn my car on.
Baby's still turning over.
Oh my God.
It started. That's good.
There it is. Oh, look at that. Oh, nice and bright.
Oh, good. So, yeah, again, this is where I just feel I feel like it all worked out exactly the way it had to. Like Devin and I'm glad because, for me, I'm glad I didn't want Devin or Horacio or Jordan to go, but it's like, how convenient. I am really on the conspiracy.
Yeah. I mean, Kenny does make his way back into the game as we see at the end of the episode, but he obviously, the other guys on that team are the more deserving to be there.
What do you think that means, making a because that's what you think, like a redemption house? Do you think, what I just assumed and didn't even think about it, which out of my ass basically, was that they're out, no one knows they're out, and then the finals, then it's like, and your team partner should ride or die. Like, this isn't an individual, where it's going to be really funny when they get those people thrown back at them.
Yeah, I think there has to be there needs to be some sort of redemption house. Yeah, because he can't just like enter back in the game and
I don't know. They might. Or it might be
yeah.
it might be the winner, the final four or whatever get repaired with their I don't know. I really don't know.
I just don't. How are they going to do that? Is it
he-
fair? Is it fair for? Can you ladies hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it fair for like Casey to have to go home just because Kenny can't perform something in the other house? Like, is that fair? Like, I mean,
No, I don't think that's how it would
not.
go. I don't think that's how it would go. Let's say there's 8 people left. Perhaps there would be their ride or dies, duke it out, and then the 4 that remain come back for the finals with their ride or die. I don't think that the people that are in the game, not secretly, are gonna go home because of something that they do, but I think that the people that make it to the next level will because of their ride or
What
dies.
are the ride or dies like Kenny who have been sent home but still have their ride or die in the house? What are they going to be doing in their redemption house? Like working?
I honestly think.
Kenny, what did he do in the main house?
But I mean, like, what is he going to do about his livelihood? I guess just like.
But they're just gonna. I think that they're literally gonna just hang out until the end of the show, and if one of their ride or dies is still in, they just get to walk back in. I don't think they're gonna have to do. I want them to have to complete some type of task, but I don't think that. I think they're just gonna have to come back.
They will. I think that at the end they will have to. That will be the twist to the main house. They'll say like, there's 10 of you now, but only 5 of you are going to the finals, and it has nothing to do with anything any of you guys do. And they will have like, what you don't know is your ride or die has been here, and they blah, 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 and the ones that are left. I would hope that that's what happens, but who knows?
All right.
Yeah.
Who's ready to get into the zone?
AutoZone.
AutoZone.
AutoZone. I'm excited though to see how this all continues to play out.
Who would you want to win if you were to? Who would you guys want to win?
Yeah, we talked about this last time.
Oh,
yeah.
And who did I say?
Oh, right. It's like we
exactly.
about how we didn't care that much. Yeah.
I said Tori and Devin, and I said Nerys and Nelson. That's who I said before. I don't know. I mean, sure.
Yeah. Mine would be Tori and Devin, but that's like, and I get, again, Tori and Devin, I suppose.
I think I said Jordan, but I really am rooting for Horacio too.
I don't want him to win though. Like I like him, but
I'm rooting for the yellow team right now. Just straight up yellow team.
Me too.
Yeah. Yellow.
Hey, can Dan's dagger make an appearance tonight or what?
Devin's dagger? I mean, obviously it was going to be Devin.
Yeah.
Isn't that ridiculous? Isn't that? Hey, Devin, you're going to start us off tonight. Oh, You're going to pull the safe dagger first? Okay, bye, Kenny. Like, oh my God. And also, obviously, they had the whole thing with Devin and Jordan. Hey, let's build some drama with maybe Devin will pick Kenny because him and Jordan have never gotten along.
Honestly,
is it any more obvious?
What is he going to sabotage his team so hard?
But that's what the producers are trying to give us drama does not exist by telling us this crap. Oh, it's so stupid.
I mean, that's the thing. It's just silly because it's like, Devin, everybody knows you're too smart to keep a player who is the weakest person in the entire game and throw in the best person in the entire game. Like, why would you even try to make it seem like you were doing that? Everybody knows you're too smart for that.
And it's not like the other thing is, it's not like Devin and Jordan hate each other. Like, it's not like, oh, you guys all think I'm going to, I don't think I don't recall them ever having, right. They're not like particularly friends, but I think
they're two people who certainly have loud personalities in that house. Like they are who they are.
All right. Suffice it to say, what guy does Jordan really get along with? Put it that way.
Right.
Who is Jordan really good friends with that it wouldn't be like, well, we kind of butt heads. He butts heads with everybody.
Good point.
Especially guys.
Because he is who he is. And Devin is like that too. Like, I don't really think that they're two type of people that kind of have like a Libra scale, and like compromise to other people that much. They're like, nope, this is the way. And it's my way or that way sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's just my take. We're not in the house.
I think you're totally right. I agree.
We don't know him personally, but I want to go. Sign us up. I want to go to the house. Maybe I might have a mental breakdown, but I would try.
Oh.
Did you ladies give Kenny even a 1% chance?
in this breaking barriers.
That's what I was holding off on talking about. Sorry, my ears are clogged because I'm a little sick and it's so weird feeling like I have the plain ears, like where you keep wanting to unclog your ears. Anyway,
yeah, I hate that feeling.
It is a terrible feeling. Like I keep trying to figure out what to do to get rid of it, and it's just, I guess, natural decongestion will happen on its own. But okay, so the other thing is, I think clearly, even the way they made it, they were merciful to Kenny in the editing of this and made it look like we don't know at the end. But from everybody's comments, it was like a massacre. Like it wasn't just
yes,
they were neck and neck. Like they might have both gotten to the end at some point, but I think it was pretty clear that Horacio was winning right off the bat. They made it he's gonna win, but no, Dan, never did I ever think, is Kenny gonna stay? Never. Not even for
I'll admit, I did for a second, okay? I did for a second. It got me, and my heart was pounding. And I was like, are they really trying to do this to me right now? I was pissed about it because I'm like, is Kenny actually catching up? Like the editing is great right now. It definitely has.
I wish I could go back to my naivete days where I could watch this with a pure heart and feel what they were trying to make me feel. But
now what it was the emotion behind it. Like my heart was actually pounding in that moment because I just felt like Horacio was way more deserving. No offense to Kenny, but God, he kind of skated through because he's partnered with Casey the whole time. And then Horacio has to go into 4 damn eliminations. I'm like, if you're telling me Kenny somehow pulls it out, I was going to be pissed.
Yeah.
So I'll say, full offense to Kenny, when he got to that final bolt thing, this is how I figured out that the edit was really bad. There was how many bolts would you have to say they had on a screw? Maybe 10? There was a lot on that sheet. It maybe more than 10. When they got to the bolt thing, you hear Casey yell out, hurry up, Kenny, you're still in this. Or hurry up, Kenny, he only has 3 left. This was Horacio. So he had 3 left. Kenny was starting on his 10. That's how far off he was. He was not even close to beating Horacio at all.
So you know what it was too? Was starting to piss me off too.
Yeah, Jenna, come to the dark side.
Yeah. This was about the possibility of Kenny catching up in the end. Was that he almost picks the worst tool to break the locks. And Johnny Bananas has to tell him, go back and get the other one. And I'm like, Johnny, dude,
what are you doing, Kenny? What are you? Bananas was like, what's wrong with you, Kenny?
I couldn't wait to see Kenny try to use an axe, a little hacksaw on the locks. That would have been hilarious. Yes. Freaking Bananas ruined it all.
And kudos to the editors for trying so hard, because they even had Horacio saying oh, I'm really scared about this nuts and bolts part. That was an after. He tried to psych us out. He wasn't so good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they could try as they might. It didn't.
We got a little Horacio biopic. Remember, we saw Joss's childhood pictures. Now we get to see a little bit of Horacio at work, and he's out there. Didn't he say he said, I do demolition and stuff? I'm like, so what else do you do?
He plays soccer. He probably has a part-time modeling career, and he's trying to be a reality star. That's the stuff.
In terms of his contracting, his blue collar career, I'm like, oh, I want to know what the end stuff is, because that's important in a game like this, because they do use tools and sledgehammers a lot, and you kind of have to have that contractor brain. So I was like, what else is it? He's like, I do demolition and stuff.
I think the end stuff was what Dan said, though. I don't think he does a lot of other maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does, but I think the end stuff was,
And we got our Casey and Kenny childhood documentary as well. So
which again, I felt so bad for Kenny, because even that, it was my dad told me to look out for him. I've always had to look out for him.
I was embarrassed for this kid. I was embarrassed the entire episode for him.
It was mean. I think people were it's great that he has self-awareness, and nothing's better than someone who can be self-deprecating and take a joke about themselves. It's great that he's not being so mortified by being the weaker player there and being Casey's little brother. It's great he can take a joke, but it kind of felt like it crossed the line at some point where people were outwardly laughing in his face, and it was really kind of mean. When they're
he shouldn't be there.
she's like, he's obviously the best player in this game, and everyone's cackling. I'm like, all right, it's enough now. Like,
well, how about what TJ said at the end of the episode? He said, "Man, you're the sweetest guy, Kenny. See you later." Kenny leaves, and he goes, "All right, Harasha, I didn't want to say this in front of Kenny, but you kicked his ass."
Yeah,
because he's such a sweet guy. Like, a sweet guy. That's a dig too, saying you suck at this game and you shouldn't be here. You don't have the personality for it. You don't have the strength for it. You don't have any of the 5 assets that are required to be on the challenge. That's what TJ said.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Poor him. Yeah, the poor guy thought he was going to get to go home, and nope. It's like, oh.
Oh, trust me, I was feeling the same way.
Like, let's not patronize him. I think that he is an awesome, sweet, cool guy, and it shouldn't be like in a.
I don't think he's awesome and cool. I mean, like, I'm not saying he's not, but has he shown you that on the show? I mean, perhaps he is.
I think the fact that he's so low key means that he is like a cool person in real life. Like he's not a reality TV person, and it's not his fault. They shouldn't have casted him.
They should not have. That's where it's like it's not
correct.
I'm not mad at him. I don't hate him. He should.
Well, he could have said no, ladies. He could have said no.
Well, I mean, so much of this is
fantastic. You gotta take the shots. He was gonna go to a cool remote location and be with his sister on reality TV and maybe win $1 million.
Again, he should have been self-aware enough to know that there was no point in him doing that.
I don't know. They call me, I'm going, and I'm not winning.
But you're a little more spunky than him. I mean, you've got a lot more.
You can play.
You're doing this. You have a podcast and stuff, and
you'd have a character. You'd have a character though, Jenna. He doesn't have a character at all. Like you'd be the really nice person, even though when you shouldn't be. You're too nice, and people would call you out for being too nice, and that would get worked into a storyline.
Right. Somewhere. It wasn't even that. It was just.
I don't like this. Nothing. I don't like what this has turned into. Skip this part. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway.
Talk about me on a reality show. Talk about me on a reality show. Dan would be an asshole.
Dan would be good and funny. You would do good at the things, jokes. And you'd be funny, and you'd make jokes. And I think overall, you'd also be reasonable and likable. You know what I mean? Like you would make big moves, but I don't think you'd be like
Jenna's like, I think he'd kind of be a jerk, and I probably would play into the jerk thing for fun.
I think you might play into the jerk thing. No, but I think it's more of like.
A little bit, but not really. Like you're not mean.
You would be like you would just be honest, but in a way that is like softened by a joke. But I don't think a lot of people in this show, in this house, would be able to. I don't know.
They wouldn't like that. I don't think some people would like me. And I think if I was single, I would do better on the show because I.
Let's answer this. Sorry, Dan. Well, but who do you think you'd be hanging out with in this house particularly?
I mean, obviously, I'd be sucking up to Jordan the whole time, trying to be his best buddy.
But I think you'd really be friends with Devin. I don't think you and Jordan would necessarily be friends.
Yeah, I think Devin and I could get along, but then again, Devin's so hard to trust, like they always say. It's a hard call.
Yeah, but I mean hanging out with, palling around with. I don't mean like trusting.
I think Devin and I would be joking around like the whole day, probably. Yeah, messing around, joking around.
Yeah. Like as much as Tori's my favorite, she's like a real competitor, and I'd be like drinking wine with Nani and Anissa for sure.
Veronica would be your girl.
Would not be like I would definitely be with Veronica. Like,
you'd be hanging out with Veronica, yeah.
Definitely.
Well, tell us in the comments below who you think would be our best friends if we were ever to appear on this season of the challenge. We want to know
Jenna,
who would Jenna hang out with?
Yeah, I think Jenna would hang out with Nerys and Olivia.
Oh.
She might be a little more like with the rookies that are like nice and good, that are like, fuck you, we're gonna like do our, you know what I mean? Like Olivia.
And it's like, you also don't know what would happen until you get in there. If for some reason Bananas wanted to work with me, I mean, I don't like Bananas, but like, yeah, fuck, I'll work with you. I don't know. It's hard to say who you'd really work with or who you'd click with. Maybe like on TV, I love to hate Bananas. What if for some reason he actually like thinks I'm a cool dude and wants to hang out? I'm not going to not hang out with Bananas. It's a weird thing, right? I don't know what would happen.
Yeah.
Honestly.
There's only one way to find out. Call us.
Yeah, they don't call us. Why would they? Why the hell would they call
After
me?
Dark Redemption House. I don't want to compete, guys. You don't have to call me for that. Like, it's like
just want the
I like that. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm like, oh, I don't care. No one's gonna want to like partner with
Pam. You would be good TV.
Right, but I wouldn't.
Pam, your confessionals, Pam, would be next level because you just say the most random shit.
Also,
in the comment section, always say that.
If anybody has watched our show for a while now, I'm sure you've maybe seen Pam get a little tipsy. It's only happened maybe once or twice, but
I'm on my hands in the years. Yeah,
it's a good time.
Yeah,
So
I like to have fun, yes, but I wouldn't want to do the competitions. I'd want to be like the old men in the Muppet Show that are just like, ha ha, that guy sure did, that just get to make comments.
That's great. Well, guys,
and me and Veronica and Tina just be like TJ's background singer with snide comments.
Yeah. Okay, so our Zoom is gonna end in 60 seconds. So let's sign off. Thank you everyone for watching.
Right. Thank you guys. Let us know who you think we would hang out with and who you would want to hang out with.
There it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye guys. Thanks, Jenna.
Let me just figure out how to end the recording. How do I do that?
I want to do jazz hands.
I'll just keep doing this.